Welcome to On the Go with AAUW, the American Association of University Women. I'm your host, Jennifer DeSano, the Executive Director of the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at George Mason University. And today we will be talking about the College of Visual and Performing Arts at George Mason University. Please welcome our guests, Dean Rick Davis, who is the Dean of the College, and the Director of the School of Music, Dr. Linda Monson. Welcome. Welcome.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Wonderful to be here.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Linda. So great to have you here. The College of Visual and Performing Arts at Mason is just a huge, wonderful organization that is doing so much for the community, so much for our students, and it enriches our lives here in Northern Virginia. And I'm so excited to speak about it because we have a number of things that I know our audience will be interested in. But usually how I start the show is with a little all about you segment. So Rick, what I'm interested in from both of you is to learn about what your early influences were and then how you arrived at your positions at the college. Rick, I know that you're a fan of ham radio, or were as a child.
So
maybe we could start there with that seed.
That is a very odd way to get into the conversation about the arts, but I love it. Yes, I had the great fortune of having an older brother who was a technological wizard and was sort of my mentor. And when I was 9 years old, 9 years old, he taught me Morse code and he taught me basic electronics and he helped me get my ham radio license. Mm-hmm. And I have been an active ham radio operator ever since. And the way that has a connection to my career in the arts is actually the very next year in my life at age 10, our local theater needed a lighting board operator. And they had a brand new electronic lighting board that scared all the old folks in the theater world because they'd never run an electronic lighting board before. And my mom, who was a volunteer with the theater, said, "Hey, my little son Ricky is an electronics guy, maybe he can come in and run it." And I came in and ran lights on this electronic board, and I got hooked.
The rest is history,
The rest
right?
is quite literally history. But it has been a source of great profit and pleasure for me to keep sort of my left brain active by thinking about technological things. And of course, as technology has progressed in the performing arts, part of my early training comes into play quite often.
Oh, very good. And Linda, you grew up on a farm, and you brought music to the farm. Let's say that. How did that happen?
Well, I grew up in central Pennsylvania. I had an incredibly wonderful childhood. I was very blessed. But there really was not much music in the house. But there was music every Sunday when I went to church. And so I really, really enjoyed going to church because I got to hear the music, and then I'd go up to the piano after the service ended. So while my parents are talking with their friends, I'm picking out the tunes, whatever I just heard that day. So for me, that was the most exciting thing. I could make music happen without really knowing what I was doing, but it was great fun. So those are my earliest memories. I did that before I could talk. So I was a very little kid, and that's what I did. And I kept begging my parents for a piano, and they kept saying, no, we can't afford it. Finally, for my 6th birthday, we got an upright piano. It was a used piano. It was the most amazing birthday gift of my life.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And it forever changed my life.
That's wonderful.
And I'm always grateful that my parents decided, okay, she's bugged us long enough. We're going to now give her wish.
That's good. Sometimes they say holding back the instrument actually creates that incentive too. But this was not an intentional holdback in this case.
No, it was. But
it stirred your desire, which was wonderful. And so then you both went on to seek out the arts in your careers. And now you're both at the university being mentors for others, which is a lovely full circle for you. When we talk about the College of Visual and Performing Arts, there are 7 different schools. Why don't we start with a few of those?
Yeah, I'd be happy to give you the overview.
Sure.
First of all, one important fact about our college and the university in general is how fast and how much it's grown over the last decade or more. George Mason is now, of course, the largest university public university in the Commonwealth of Virginia, 38,000 students roughly. The Arts College is 1,700 majors strong, which is a very large, I think we're one of the largest, if not the largest.
Did you say 1,700?
1,700 majors across those 7 disciplines, and many thousands more students that we teach every year in general education and other kinds of courses, plus our wonderful Mason Community Arts Academy that teaches lifelong learners from the very young to all the way through the life cycle, reaching thousands more. So we're influencing tens of thousands of people every year. And the academic disciplines are visual arts, which includes graphic design and computer animation and all kinds of fancy stuff, as well
technological
as
stuff.
Yes, exactly, as well as the traditional art forms.
Sure.
The School of Dance, which is a very small, very intense program, a nationally competitive program. The School of Music that Dr. Monson will talk about, I'm sure, I hope. The School of Theater, which is my home discipline. We have a program in film studies, which is grown. It's only 10 years old, and it's already up to more than 200 majors and is winning national awards. We have 2 students who just won Emmy Awards.
Yes. Well, we'll get into that later too, but I
good.
also want to talk about, you had a student who was in the production of Hamilton.
Yes,
well.
yeah, from the School of Dance, yeah.
Yes.
And a program in computer game design, which is nationally ranked as well, up in the top 20 or so. And our program in arts management, which is a master's degree program, which takes advantage of our proximity to the DC arts community.
Wonderful. And do some of the kids double major in arts management and a
The
like
undergraduates,
theater, for example?
yes, you can do an undergraduate degree in many of our disciplines and a minor in arts management, and then go on to an accelerated master's degree. And many people find that a very compelling combination.
Right. And Linda, so since you are here and
Yes.
you are the director of the School of Music, would you give us an overview of the School of Music, and then if you want to tell us about some of the special things that you're doing there?
Sure. We have 400 plus majors within the School of Music. The School of Music has bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, and doctoral degrees, both the Doctor of Musical Arts and the PhD in Music Ed. And we have around 100 graduate students within the master's and doctoral areas combined, and around 300 undergrads. Within the undergraduate arenas, we have the Bachelor of Arts, which is a liberal arts degree with a music concentration. We have the Bachelor of Music Performance degree, Bachelor of Music Education degree, and the students can choose either the instrumental concentration or the vocal choral concentration. With that degree, they also get licensure to be able to teach K through 12 in the public schools. And we also have a Bachelor of Music Technology, and Bachelor of Music in Composition, Bachelor of Music in Jazz Studies. You name it, we have it. Many, many ways to study music at George Mason, and we're very pleased that we are able to attract students of various backgrounds, different types of learners, and we're not a one-size-fits-all. What we are is we provide deep conservatory level training with tremendous rigor. We also have a very nurturing faculty, and we will take students at many different levels, and it's all about elevating them into becoming the best musician they can become. And so I'm incredibly proud of our world-class faculty.
As you should be, as you should be. And everyone there has their heart and their passion in the right place.
Yes.
You consider the whole person, the whole student, the whole experience from their first step into the School of Dance until they actually leave, perhaps even with a job, because of the method that you use. Do you want to discuss the method?
Yeah, this is something that sets George Mason a little bit apart from some of our peers and competitors. We have, as Linda alluded to, we have a very strong commitment to the whole person. We think of ourselves as a conservatory approach, which means rigorous professional level training from faculty who are themselves professionals within a liberal arts environment. And of course, the liberal arts is the education of the whole person, building skills in critical thinking, building quantitative skills, building skills in analysis. Certainly, working in the arts builds those and requires those skills, but we also want our students to have the same breadth of background that an English major or a physics major or an engineering major would have, so that they can go out into the world and practice their art, but also be a well-informed citizen, be a contributor to society, and actually follow the various pathways that life leads us in these days. You know, the old saw, which I really believe, is that, you know, in the 1940s and 50s and 60s, to a certain extent, people could expect to have one or two careers, and they would lead their life in a fairly linear fashion if they were lucky and good. Now that number is 7 or 9 or even higher, different career changes and paths.
Yes.
So we have to teach our students, the whole university has to teach our students to be flexible and adaptable, and we say, you know, learn how to learn. One of the great things about an arts education is that it provides that at George Mason, but it also provides the discipline of the arts. You know, we like to say, artists don't get extensions on their papers because the audience shows up at 8 o'clock on Thursday, whether you're ready or not. So you better be ready. So there's a real discipline in studying and practicing
Absolutely.
the
You have
arts.
to get your notes right every time,
Yes.
otherwise
That's
it's not so great.
That's right.
That's right.
You have to work collaboratively so that the orchestra sounds fantastic. You all have to work as hard as each other to make sure that you're bringing that sound to the audience and that experience to the audience. And within the formal degree process, you have internships that you kind of help to facilitate for the students, and programs like to
Yes,
elaborate?
you can speak.
I mean,
There's
there are so many
opportunities in
schools, but we could
music,
focus
yeah.
on music just to start with internships.
Sure. Well, I mentioned that we have a music technology degree program, and so the internships are a really vital part of that degree. The students might do an internship in one of the local recording studios, like Bias Studio, or, you know, we have many
Which happens to be
wonderful.
one of the nation's finest recording studios right down the street.
And we are very, very fortunate to have connections with our various leaders in the industry. Also, in other realms, whether it's pedagogy, students will do internships where they are working outside of Mason with perhaps some of the leading teachers in that area, whether it's in a private studio or sometimes it might be in a classroom setting, not necessarily the public schools, but of course our music ed students are doing formalized internships within the public school setting as well. But all of our degree programs have internships provided. They're just in different ways.
If you, for example, if you happen to go to Wolf Trap, at any time, but especially during the summer, you will see not only a number of George Mason students on the staff there who started out as interns, a number of graduates of the School of Music, the School of Theater, the School of Dance, and our Arts Management program. We have kind of a infiltration of Wolf Trap that's really quite wonderful. It's a great relationship. The same thing is true at the Smithsonian Institution, the National Museum of African American History and Culture, the National Gallery, various film production companies. I mean, Mason is because of our size, quality, and location, we are able to give our students tremendous professional entry, exploiting the riches of this region.
And you have a special program that you did recently called Raising Voices, where it was a collaboration.
Talk about a fantastic opportunity for our students. So this program partnered our best vocal studies majors, of which we have a wonderful opera and vocal studies program, with the extraordinary young singers from the Washington National Opera's Domingo Kefritz Young Artist Program. These students at Domingo Kefritz are auditioned from around the country. They audition over 1,000 singers for just a very few places every year. So these are some of the best young singers in the country, and we were able to create a recital concert staging program of opera excerpts and highlights, which blended our students with the Domingo Kefritz students in a really seamless whole. And not only was it wonderful to see our students performing at a professional or just barely pre-professional level, I mean, they just held their own with these extraordinary singers, but to watch them grow before our very eyes, because there's nothing like being around a peer who's just that much, a couple years ahead of you, right? And it just pulls you up. And the friendships that were formed and the artistic partnership that occurred. And we were lucky enough to be able to do it at our beautiful Hylton Performing Arts Center on the Science and Technology campus in Manassas, which is part of the College of Visual and Performing Arts venue empire, if you will. And it happens to have some of the best acoustics for the human voice anywhere on the
It's a
East
beautiful
Coast.
facility.
And the folks from the Washington Opera were just delighted to be able to perform there.
Well, the Hylton Center is in Manassas, and then you have the Center for the Arts,
Yes.
which is on the Fairfax campus.
Yes.
Talk about that event venue.
So the Center for the Arts has played an enormous role in Northern Virginia, really, and on George Mason's campus since 1990 when it opened. We did some arithmetic a little while ago and discovered that nearly 6 million visitors have come through those doors since we opened in 1990. And it has accomplished a couple of different things. It's created a sense of a focal point for the Northern Virginia community, really the first in the region to do that, and given people a sense of identity with their hometown or their home region, not just Fairfax City, but all of this region. Secondly, and very importantly, it has raised the level of the academic life of the university. Again, not just in the arts, but just providing. We do between 40 and 50 professional presentations a year there, all of which are free to our students, which is to every
It's great
student
enrichment
at George
for them,
Mason.
absolutely.
So they can come and take a chance on something they might not otherwise have experienced, whether it's ballet or jazz or opera or whatever it might be. And then, and turning to Linda, the fact that we have a large professional venue for our students to perform in has med a big
And
difference.
student recitals as
Right,
well.
so our students have the opportunity to perform in these amazing facilities from our Center for the Arts. We have, in fact, tonight, well, almost every night, we have events there in the Center for the Arts, as well as Harris Theater, and our students also perform down at the Hylton Performing Arts Center as well. But the facilities really are top-notch, and very, very thrilled about that.
I want the community to be aware that the concerts that the students have to put on, the recitals, they're free and open to the public.
Yes, our students, as part of their degree programs, do a solo recital, or maybe it's a chamber recital, but each year. For some, it's each semester, depending on their degree plan. So if you're looking for great music to experience, it's free, and our students are extraordinary. You just check out the calendar, and my gosh, many nights there's 2 or 3 student recitals on the same night, 6 p.m., 8 p.m.
And I think Linda goes to all of them, is my belief.
I do go to quite a
Yes,
few.
yeah.
Well, they're our students. They're
And you can
deserving of
find that
support.
out at CVPA.
cvpa.gmu.edu has
.gmu.edu.
everything you need,
And we'll make sure to
including
put
the Center for the Arts professional schedule as well.
Okay,
So-
very good, very good. And I know there's the Delansky Theater.
Delansky.
Yeah,
Is it the-
Delansky Performing Arts Building,
Right.
Performing Arts
which
Building.
is pretty new. Do you remember which year that opened?
Yeah, about 5 years ago.
About 5 years ago. It's a beautiful, beautiful rehearsal facility that also, because of its size and quality, functions as a performance venue as well.
We do a lot of chamber recitals in there, or percussion concerts, just because it's a lot of equipment and it fits nicely in there.
There are all these wonderful
great.
kind of
Yes.
state-of-the-art
Yes.
facilities
Yes,
for people
yeah.
to enjoy.
That's part of our growth plan as well at George Mason. You know, we've grown so fast as a university over the last several decades, but the nice thing about it is that we've grown in quality and quantity at the same time, which is kind of a neat trick. Not everybody has been able to pull that
Right,
off,
right.
but we've been able to do it and keep pace with facilities and keep pace with faculty, and the level of student has just kept rising, and it's
The
been really
students
wonderful.
are amazing. I want to talk about the faculty. I want to talk about them. I want to talk about the students and some of their achievements. There are a couple that we want to highlight. But you do have some expansion that's going to happen to the Center for the Arts that you're planning.
Yes.
A rebuild or an extension.
We are. We have just planned a beautiful renovation of the concert hall because it did open in 1990, and it's time. Plus, it's such an ornament to the cultural life of the community as well as the university that we think this region deserves a really first-rate and up-to-date concert venue. And so we're going to, in partnership with the community, we're going to make that happen.
That's fantastic. So there are artists, teachers that are coming in all the different disciplines. I just went to the Dance Fete a few weeks ago. It was fantastic, and we had some choreographers, renowned choreographers, working with the students. That's just one example. Do you have some examples you want to share?
I would love to. Well, can I stay on dance for just a second?
Yes,
because,
please.
it's a small but intensely high-level program in modern dance, which is a small market. So we in being responsible to our students and to the marketplace, we keep the program small in scale but enormous in ambition. And I'll tell you a quick story. This was last year, but it's one of those great stories. You remember when Mason went to the Final Four
yeah.
in basketball in 2006?
2006, yeah.
Well, we had our Final Four moment in dance last year. We were invited, our School of Dance was invited to perform a work by Lar Lubavitch, who's one of the top modern dance choreographers in America, celebrating his 50th anniversary as a leading maker of dances. He gave us a work to perform on that same gala program. He came down and coached the students personally. He fell in love with them and our performance of his work. So he invited our dancers to come to New York with him and perform with his company on his 50th anniversary program at the Joyce Theater in New York City. I mean, this is something that just doesn't happen.
What an honor.
It was so that kind of thing is so exciting.
That can happen at Mason.
It absolutely happens at Mason.
That's fantastic. Wow. There is also a visual film studies program. And I know that we have students that are involved actually with studio arts, filming, as you mentioned, out in DC, doing films on site, and they're making short films and things. But we also had some highlighted students. There's this young woman who is, I'm going to work on her name, Kari George, film and video studies student, who won some awards. Do you want to talk about Kari?
Kari and also Erblin Nushi.
Yes, these are the Emmy, Emmy award winners.
They both won regional Emmy awards for their work. Kari's work is about violence and the
African American women and suicide.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's just a haunting short film. And Erblin's work is a narrative film, a fiction film, but based on his own life as a Kosovar refugee. And he actually went back to Kosovo to film his life story on location in the very town where he grew up. And both of those films have recently been honored with regional Emmy awards, which is, again, for an undergraduate film program.
What an emotional journey.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's both films are just powerful in their own way. And our film program has a social conscience. I think one of their sort of mottos, if it's not formal, they talk about this all the time, is making stories that matter. And so the engagement, our School of Art has a strong social justice orientation as well. Making beautiful things, but also making things that mean something to the larger population.
Well, yeah, I was able to watch all of their shorts from last year when we were doing the Reston Film Festival, Washington West. And they were very moving, and there was absolutely nothing superficial about them.
Yeah.
They were all deep stories. So they're doing amazing work in the visual studies. And then we don't want to leave out our sculpture and paintings.
Absolutely.
And
the visual arts program is again one of the largest in the Commonwealth. I think we and VCU down in Richmond are the two strongest programs in the Commonwealth, and they have a beautiful building called the Art and Design Building on our campus, multi-award-winning building for the architecture.
I watched that building go up.
Yes, it's just a stunning facility.
It's gorgeous.
And every time we have a visitor from out of town who comes to give a talk or have an exhibition in the beautiful Gillespie Art Gallery, they remark on the not only the beauty but the functionality of that building. You can walk through that building at any hour and see students and faculty members making art. It could be sculpture out in the back sculpture garden. They might be welding. They might be fabricating out of stone or metal. Our fellow Ben Ashworth is a internationally renowned skateboard designer, and he collaborated with the Kennedy Center on a fantastic project called Finding a Line with Jason Moran, the director of jazz at the Kennedy Center. And they did an improvisatory piece where skateboarders and jazz musicians collaborated in real time in a skateboard structure that Ben designed and built.
Wow.
I mean, I don't even know how that happens, but it happens at Mason.
It happens at Mason.
Yes.
We're going to come up with a new theme for Mason. It happens at Mason.
That might work.
It happens at Mason.
We have a few minutes left, but I want to get to the season, the 2019-2020 season. What do we have that's coming down the line that we want all the community to know about and get engaged
So
with?
the Center for the Arts season is, once again, bigger and better than ever. There's a couple things that I think will catch people's eye depending on their, or ear, I guess, depending on their taste. One thing is the Chieftains are coming to us, and that is a rare thing. They usually play the Kennedy Center, but we managed to snag them. And that's, of course, a wonderful, world-renowned ensemble. And there's something new that's coming that I think is going to be a lot of fun, called the Four Italian Tenors. And as a devotee of music and opera, which we both are, really looking forward to that.
I actually have their recordings.
These are four of these young up-and-coming.
My mother sent me the copy of their work. I'm like, oh, she's like, I love these.
And they're just extraordinary.
Yes.
And so if you love vocal music,
Yes.
and they'll sing some popular tunes as well.
That's
as
what's fun
opera.
about them. Yeah.
And also new, and From the Top.
Yes.
So we're very excited that we'll be hosting that.
The NPR radio show
Yes.
with
Fantastic.
featuring young talent
That'll
from
be
the
great.
region.
Yes, so that's going to be exciting. I think that'll bring a lot of energy.
And then,
as
of
well.
course, Arts by George is
Yes.
one of your big fundraisers
Yes,
that you
of
do
course.
every year. It's a great way to get a flavor for all the different arts programs, correct?
We call it an evening like no other
That's
because you
right.
see, over the course of a couple hours, you see performances and exhibitions from every program
Yes.
at the College of Visual and Performing Arts. And you can meet the students and meet their faculty, and then go to a wonderful headliner performance in the concert hall after the student exhibitions. This year's guest artist is Audra McDonald, who has the most Tony Awards of any current
Wow.
performer. She's a genius and a real star, and she'll be doing a master class for us.
So much to
wonderful.
look forward to. That's so
Yeah,
fantastic. And you can learn more at cvpa.gmu.edu.
Yes.
Check out the calendar. Look at these events that are coming up. Subscribe to the coming season.
What a good idea.
Yes. Thank you both so much for being on the program with me today. And thank you for watching On the Go with AAUW.